All right, folks, welcome to this little series on how to create this basic blocky character. If you've seen any of the other videos where we take this little blocky character and we drop him into Mixamo um, in order to get Mixamo to auto rig it for us, um, then in that video series, I provided you with the little character already made. So for this little series, I'm going to show you how to actually make the character using, excuse me, the extrusion tool, and maybe even the loop cut tool in Maya so that you can create this basic little shape, take it into Mixamo, get it rigged, then bring it back. And then we may also in another video show you how to adjust the weights. Because if you look at him right now, you can tell this example, his hand area is kind of distorting. That is because the weights that are painted currently from Mixamo auto rigging it, they aren't perfect. So we may look in a video on how to touch that up. And this is a real basic character to be able to do that with. So I'm going to go ahead and um, pull up Maya. I'm going to go ahead and create a new scene. So you can use any version of Maya that you got. I'm going to go to Workspace General and then tell it to reset current. Then I'm going to go ahead and go to File, Project Window. We're going to hit this New button. We'll call it, I'm going to call it Mixamo Man. That way I know which project it is. I'm going to hit the location folder. I'll just put him on my desktop, hit select, and then hit accept. Now I'm going to go ahead and do a file save scene as, and you'll see that it's putting it on my desktop in my Mixamo Man folder under scenes. So I'm going to call this Mixamo Man 1. All right. So the character, if I just real quick pull him back up, is a real basic blocky character. If I go back a little further, all he is a cube for a head, gets a little skinnier for the body, and he's in a standard T pose. There's a little gap between his legs. That's kind of what we're going to recreate. I'm going to do it too without any references because it's a real basic shape for us. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. Over here in Maya, I want to make sure I'm on my modeling dropdown. And then I'm going to go over here and choose quad view so I can see all of my four views, my perspective, side, front, and top. And then at the top here, there's the poly modeling tab. I'm going to go ahead and create a cube. And that's going to put it centered in there for me. I'm going to grab my move tool. I'm going to pull that shape up. I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit. If you are new to Maya, your middle mouse wheel will zoom in and out. If you hold Alt down and hold down the middle mouse wheel, you can pan around, up, down, side to side. If you are in perspective view and you hold Alt and the right mouse button, it'll zoom in and out. If you hold Alt and the left mouse button down, it'll allow you to rotate. And when you're working in perspective, you want to keep this little box here, the front facing you, so that you know that this view is the correct view and so forth. All right. So now what I'm going to do is take this cube, got my move tool, but I'm going to grab my scale tool, which is this one right here. I'm going to scale it up and make it fit the width of two of these boxes. That way, when I move it up, it should fill a total of 4. All right, so there's our head. Pretty basic. Now in perspective view, I'm going to rotate underneath. I can tell because it says bottom there. I'm going to right click and hold, and I'm going to go to face mode. I'm going to select this bottom face. So in Maya, you can work with faces, vertexes or vertices, and then edges. So faces are your big solid spot. Vertices are the points that would be on any of the corners where edges come together. And then obviously edges are the spots connecting vertices or creating a face. But I'm going to select this bottom face and I'm going to hit Control E on my keyboard, which is extrude. I don't want to do anything yet. Instead, I'm going to look for one of these boxes on the extrude tool, which allows me to scale if I click on one. If I click on one, it activates this center one, which is the one I want, because that'll do proportionate scaling. And I'm going to click on it and I'm going to scale in, basically creating this little guy's neck. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to move my side view down by holding Alt and middle mouse wheel a little bit. And then I'm going to go ahead and do Control E again. I'm going to pull down where his little neck will be. Doesn't need to be big. Just need something for it to pivot on. All right. So now we've got a little character with a little neck. Now we need his arms where his shoulders would be and his arms stretched out for the T-pose. We need his body, and then we need his lower body with his legs. So first, let's recreate his shoulders. So again, I've still got that face selected. I'm going to hit Control E, grab the scale tool again, and I'm going to scale it up till it gets to the width of the head again. Then I'm going to hit Control E again, and I'm going to pull down and create his body. And I want it kind of proportionate to what the head should have, so I think that'll do. Again, this is kind of just playing around with it. We could have created references and all of that and put them in here to make sure it was accurate, but this is kind of a how-to quick video. All right. Next thing we're going to do, now that we've got his body kind of there, we're going to focus on the top portion where his arms would be. So I'm going to zoom in on my front view by scrolling the mouse wheel. I'm going to go up to Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. And for the edge loop, I'm going to try to create arms that are about the height of one of the cubes. So one of these cubes. Now, obviously, I'm not perfect on the cube alignment, so I'm going to have to go a little below. But with the edge loop tool, I can click on, if I click on a vertical line, it's going to create a new horizontal edge. If I click on a horizontal line, it's going to create a vertical edge. But I'm going to click, and if you click and hold, it allows you to drag up and down where you want that edge to actually be. Once you let go, it cuts an edge all the way around the object. All right. The next thing I'm noticing I don't like about this little guy is I think he needs to be skinnier on the side view. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the side view, zoom in. I'm going to go to vertex mode, and I am going to drag a box around these front vertices for his body, hold shift, and drag a box around the back vertices for his body. I'm going to grab my scale tool over here on the left, and I'm going to grab in the side view this blue box, and I'm going to scale it in to make his body skinnier on the side view. And by doing that, it scales it in on this one direction, brings both the front and the back in equally. All right. Now, we're going to go ahead and do face mode. And I'll show you real quick what happens if I do Control E. I was able to shift select. Let me undo that now. If you grab this face for this side, shift select this face, hit Control E, you can do both sides and it will do them proportionately because you're doing it at the exact same time. All right. So now our little guy's got some arms. All right, finally, our last little segment is the legs. And we need a little gap between the legs. So the easiest way to do that is going to be, I'm going to go back to my Mesh Tools, Insert Edge Loop. And I'm going to click on this bottom horizontal edge, and I'm going to drag just to the left of that gray line there. Now I do want to show you another tool, so I'm going to undo that. So Control Z will undo. I'm going to turn on this up here at the top. There's symmetry. I'm going to do Object X, and I'm going to try that again. Oh, it's not going to let me with that tool, is it? Let me try one more time. Yeah, it's not going to let us because we're working on the same little block here. Darn it. I'm going to turn that back off, and we'll have to use that I'll do it in a different part of this video. So let's go back to undo till you get to this point, then go back to our insert edge loop. Let's click and hold, and we want to drag it just beside that dark gray line there. Then I'm going to go to the other side, do the same thing. And really what I'm doing is creating a small gap between where the legs are going to be so that Mixamo has a little easier time finding the separation between the legs. Then I'm going to grab my selection tool, go to face mode, select both of his legs, do Control E, and drag down. And there we have it. We have a little basic blocky man. And so now what I'll do, just to show you again how we put it into Mixamo, I'm going to do a file save. Then I'm going to do a file export selection because I've got my little guy selected. And for file type, I'm going to change that to FBX export. We'll call this Mixamo Man 1. And I'm just going to put it on my desktop for right now and hit export selection. Then I'm going to go to Mixamo.com. When you get there, if you don't have a login, you can create one. You don't have to have a Adobe account or anything to get access. But if you go in there, create your account and sign in, you can now come in. I've got some other projects that you've probably seen in other videos, but I'm going to go to upload character, select character file, and I'm going to go to my desktop and look for Mixamo Man. When it brings it in, it's going to process it. It's going to show us an example, and then we hit next. Then we have to set some settings. So we got to tell it where the chin is. And so you want to make sure you get it up on the actual face. If you put it right on the edge, if you miss, it may give you some errors later. Then it wants its wrists, elbows, where the knees would be, and then where his groin area would be. You hit next. We'll see if it accepts it. Every now and then it may tell you that it was not working or did not register right, so you have to replace all those parts. But I'm hoping with how simple our character is, it goes pretty smooth. All right, so you can see that it took our little character with those settings. We hit next. Now it's uploaded it. Now you can go through Mixamo's catalog. If you click on an animation, it's going to attach it based off of the rig that Mixamo built for this character. Let's say we find one we like. I'll just do the taunting one. Let's do that. Or no, this one's cool. Let's do that. That way he moves a little bit. So let's say I'm happy with that. I can go ahead and do download, tell it FBX with scan, hit download. Now it says downloading asset. It says that it was done. So I'm going to go back over to Maya. I'm going to save this scene. And then I'm going to go ahead and do new scene. And if I do file, import, go to wherever my download went. So in this case, I got to go find my downloads folder. It's going to name it based off of the animation. So I'm going to click on there. It brings it in. If I play it, it plays really fast. So what I got to do is right click down and hold down here in the timeline. Go back to playback speed and tell it play every frame max real time. That will slow it down. And then what I will do is go to display, animation, joint size, which is all these little purple things. I'm gonna drop down to like 0.1 and hit enter. Even that wasn't small enough, so maybe I go even smaller, so 0.05, enter. So it's still kind of sticking out of him, but it's okay. In a future video, I'll show you how to make his body also kind of move better because obviously he's twisting in some really odd ways. But that is how we would bring that in. So for this, I'm going to go ahead and end this video, but now you kind of know how to really do basic modeling in Maya, and you know how to take it into Mixamo, bring it back into Maya. So I'm going to do a file set project real quick. And I'm going to choose my Mixamo Man folder, hit set. And I'm going to call this, I'm going to do file save scene as. I'm going to call this Mixamo Man 2. That way, next video for this series, we'll be able to pull this file up again and work with him. All right, so that's kind of all I've got for this video. We'll see you in the next one. Good luck.